School Shootings and How Teachers and Schools Can Prevent Them, a project by Emily Byam. Preventing school shootings must become a conversation topic in all schools in both the United States and Canada, and all teachers and schools must be taking these precautions. During this video, I will provide background information on school shootings and prevention methods, poll SFU students on their opinions and prior knowledge of school shootings, and educate the viewer on the prevention methods that teachers and schools should be taking. The purpose of this video is to educate viewers on ways that we, as potential future educators, can prevent school shootings from occurring. Here, you can see the prevalence of school-associated violent deaths across a span of 19 years. Although these deaths are dropping, even one school-related violent death is too many. To start off, let's hear from some SFU students. How often would you estimate that school shootings occur at K-12 public schools across the United States?
I don't know, like 4 times a year maybe?
3 times a year?
Maybe once a month?
Maybe twice a year?
I'd say every 2 to 3 months.
About once a month.
According to data taken from December 2012 to February 2014, on average, one school shooting takes place every 2 weeks across the United States in public schools. 52% of United States public schools educate students on what to do in a school shooting versus 82% that do the same for natural disasters.
I think it's kind of ridiculous that schools aren't preparing more for school shootings.
First off, I think all schools should be preparing for natural disasters, and schools that are in high-risk areas, they should definitely be preparing for shootings if there's the possibility of that happening.
I think that is a large oversight on the part of the schools, especially as school shootings appear to be more frequent.
I think it undermines the safety of the students, and it doesn't make enough provision for safety precautions to be made.
So I think that, everyone should know what to do in case of an emergency, and if a guy came in with a gun into a classroom, the kids should know what to do.
Although the United States sees many more shootings than we do here in Canada, it is evident that SFU students have very strong thoughts on school shootings and recognize the importance of prevention. These horrific events can and should be prevented, and I am here to tell you how. It is time for change to happen, and every small action can make an impact on this issue. There are 3 forms of prevention which I will be discussing. The first is primary prevention, which is limiting the influence of risk factors in the general population before any negative development is shown. Secondary prevention, which is prevention efforts used on a selective scale for children at a high risk of youth violence. And emergency response, which is last-minute prevention at the time of a shooting. Primary prevention methods include bullying prevention, teacher and staff awareness of bullying as an issue, teacher and staff willingness to intervene, and equipping students to deal with bullying. How can teachers implement this method? By emphasizing to all students that telling an adult is not tattling, by immediately intervening to all bullying, recording the incident, and reporting it to school administrators for it to be taken care of further, by creating an anti-bullying contract and requiring all students and parents to sign, and by using programs such as Bully Busters or the Peaceful School Project to educate students at a young age about how to deal with many aspects of bullying. Safe classroom climate. Keep a safe and positive environment in the classroom with mutual respect between adults and students. Encouragement for students to communicate any rumors of violence. Develop positive connections with students, accentuating students' strengths, and establishing trusting relationships with family. How can teachers implement this method? By increasing parental involvement in events and organizations, by being aware of classroom physical environment, for example, lighting and safety plans, by encouraging listening for all students to break the code of silence, as well as to listen to behaviors as many students struggle to find words for their feelings of hurt or fear, and by empowering students by involving them in creating and sustaining a climate of safety and respect. Fostering social competencies. Social emotional learning, or SEL, developing the skills to recognize and manage emotions, use care and concern for others, establish positive relationships, and handle challenging situations. How can teachers implement this method? By providing social skills training or some form of counseling for students, by utilizing an SEL program to promote empathy in your students, including the Mind Up program, Second Step, and the Emotions course, and by encouraging cooperative learning, group discussions, and self-reflection. Secondary prevention methods include monitoring of high-risk students. All teachers and school staff should be able to recognize warning signs of a troubled student. Warning signs may include bullying other students, lacking empathy, having previous problems with behavior, showing hatred or racism, speaking often of killing, or having a juvenile record. How can teachers implement this method? By displaying an ever-present awareness of conditions in and around the school, by reporting any behavioral changes, indicators of mental illness, or suspicious body language to school counselor or principal immediately, and by taking all threats seriously. Never assume that is not going to be taken seriously. Threat assessment approach, a form of risk management that is initiated when threatening behavior or statements are shown. Used when a student has addressed intent to harm someone. How can teachers implement this method? By using a threat assessment team, including teachers, principals, law enforcement officers, psychologists, or social workers. By assessing the student's intent of attack, including access to weapons, communication of intent, or a belief that violence is a way of dealing with issues. By assessing the youth's mental state, and by taking immediate security measures if deemed necessary, for example, notifying the law or warning potential victims. Emergency response methods. Dial 911 and provide clear information. Communicate with shooter in a calm manner to de-escalate emotions. Maintain clear liaison with law enforcement before, during, and after an event. Turn off lights in classroom, close blinds, and silence cell phones, and try to remain calm and keep all students calm.